Welcome to the Black Design Collective. My name is Lola Wusu, and today we have a very special guest. She is the producer of this lovely show and just an all-around amazing person, a professor, a designer, all the things that you ever wished a person could be. She's also a mother to amazing girls that I enjoy and love so much. And she is here today, and we get to get into knowing who she is. And this is Tiffany Jackson.
Hello. Thank you.
This is exciting for me because there's so much I don't know about her as much as I enjoy so much about her. So let's get into it. Where are you from, Tiffany?
Actually, I was born in Los Angeles, and then we moved to the suburbs in West Covina. And I grew up in West Covina. I went to high school in West Covina. And then I went to school for college at LA Trade Tech in Los Angeles.
Yeah. So how did you get into the fashion industry?
Well, out of necessity, actually. I was very tall and lanky when I was in junior high, and we had home ec. So I learned how to sew. And while I was learning how to sew, I also learned how to lengthen patterns, how to make the pants long enough and how to make the sleeves long enough, because I was always very self-conscious about things being too short, and not in a fashionable way, like too short in a wrong way. So when I figured out how to manipulate patterns, I just kind of fell in love with that. And I just started doing more one-of-a-kind things so that I could stand out a little bit from my classmates. I did a little bit of modeling when I was in high school. So I felt empowered when I could create my own clothing and my own designs. And all of that led to me going to fashion school at LA Trade Tech, where I majored. I got my degree there, and then I worked in the industry for quite some time. My background is primarily pattern making and technical design. And then an opportunity came about for me to teach at my alma mater, Trade Tech. So I took that about 15 years ago. So I've been a professor ever since.
Love that story. As a tall girl myself, I can relate.
No love for the tall girls.
No love. But it got us to this point where we can be creative and create something that didn't exist already. And I'm sure in general, you with the industry and creating your own designs and you being a designer, like how is that aspect of business, professorship, and of course, everything else, being a mom, a wife, all those things.
I'm just creative in general. It oozes from my body. It's very cathartic. It keeps me sane. Like everybody has their thing. Being creative is my thing. One thing about teaching is, having taught for so many years, sometimes you just think you've seen everything, and then a student will come along and do something really fabulous to a front ply zipper, and you're just like, whoa, they just blow you away. So it's like, there's just not enough creativity around, it's just like you have a lot of it, but the students have a lot of it. And it's so nice to work in an environment like that because you don't get bored. You're always seeing new things. And then every once in a while you come across a talent and they're just so amazing and fascinating to watch. We've had a couple come through there and just looking at them in their careers now and the things and the work that they've done, it's just rewarding because, I feel like I was a part of that. I feel like I was a part of that journey, and I enjoy that. I enjoy helping the students become better designers or sewers or pattern makers or technical designers, because that's their goal. And if I can help someone reach their goal, that's what that's my responsibility as a teacher. I'm the vehicle to help you get to wherever you want to go. So
I love that.
I try.
I love that aspect of it. And it is true, like you getting to see somebody start from the beginning and help them through and see their creativity and foster that. And know that you're really great at that. So I'm sure they appreciate you. And then even just thinking about being a designer or being someone in the industry, like what made you decide like, okay, I know this really well. I work in this industry. I'm successful in this industry. I want to go back and give to people who, you know, are coming up and trying to learn what it is that you do.
I just think it's rewarding. So having been in the industry for a long time and designed, I did do a lot of private label. I did small collections and things like that when I started really early. But the industry is so different now, especially like with the technology and the way things are produced, and something as simple as magazines. So I just threw out so many magazines over the weekend when I was cleaning out, and I almost got teary-eyed because it's like the whole getting a subscription and tearing out the pages and creating a file. Now we have Pinterest. Like some of these things or practices that we grew up with and that we've done for so long have just morphed into something else. So it's just so interesting how quickly the technology moves and how we have to adapt. So I love learning, I love building, I love creating, but it's sad when things kind of have their era. And I feel like the whole magazine thing, it's like going to the library. Like nobody really goes to the library anymore. It's like all of these interesting things that are happening now in 2022 that, didn't exist years ago, and it didn't exist when I was in school at all. We didn't have social media and internet and things right at your fingertips. When we had to research designs, we had to go to the library, or we had to go find files or find books or find magazines to do that. And now everything is so fast, you just, pull it up on your phone. So it's just an interesting journey.
So true and so interesting. But one thing as you were speaking, realizing it, and it's a perfect segue, is with all this technology, at the end of the day, kids still love to touch and feel books. And you have created a children's book that is so amazing. And someone who has nieces, and I love reading to them at night and then reading to me, it's something that you can't do on an iPad. It's not the same feeling. It's turning the pages, touching the feeling, getting their imaginations going. And you created a book that does just that. So please tell us about this book.
Well, it's so interesting for that too, because the book actually started as a t-shirt line. Because I'm a garment person, when my children were little, there were not a lot of options with little Black girls on them. There just weren't at that time. It's better now, but there's still plenty of room. So I created a character and I did a t-shirt line, and that turned into book bags and other things, other kind of accessories. And people were saying, well, who is this? Who is she? Who is this character? What is she about? And I was like, oh, she's Brave Brown, cute t-shirt, so on and so forth. And my aunt finally said, well, you need a book. And I was like, I just kind of kept putting it, in the back of my mind, but people kept asking, well, who is she? Where does she come from? What does she do? So over that period of time, I started working on a book, and I can say now that the book is finally done, and I'm very excited. So now I can say I'm an author on top of all of the other things, all of the other hats I wear.
I love it. And as I was reading this book, it was definitely some moments I remember having as a child. I don't want to give all of it away, obviously, but give us a little bit of the journey of the book and who Brave Brown is and how she is this amazing person with the power of her imagination.
Yes, she is a superhero. So Brave Brown is a superhero. She's 5 years old, and she is very shy. She has a timid personality, and she's afraid to try new things. So she's a combination of me and actually both of my daughters. And on this particular book, she is afraid to go to sleep at night in her room by herself because she thinks it's a scary place. And I remember being afraid of the dark and sleeping with the nightlight. And then one of my daughters had the same issue. And I know a lot of parents struggle with this. The nighttime routine becomes a very big ordeal sometimes because it's hard to get the child settled and get them to feel comfortable and confident enough to fall asleep. So in writing about that, in the book, She has a lot of help, from her family, and she learns how to go to sleep. And so hopefully this is a tool that children can use, because we want them to be confident. We want them to be able to solve problems, and we want them to be, everyone is scared. That doesn't go away. No matter how old we get, there's always something that we are fearful or afraid about. But if we learn how to address it so we can move forward, it just makes everything better.
And that's the thing I loved about it when I was reading it. It was something that spoke to me just as much as I know it would speak to my 6-year-old niece and her little sister who's 3. It's a universal thing of,
Yes.
I love that the family was there to help, but not necessarily fully solve the problem, just help you understand how to deal with the problem. And I thought that was beautiful to see, and something that I needed a reminder of myself, like just use your imagination and see what happens there.
It's a powerful tool. It's
It
a really
really
powerful
is.
tool. And I like creating the characters in the book because so many of our households, the grandmother lives there, or maybe the grandfather lives there. Everyone is actively involved in Ari, that is her name, her success. And throughout the book, you'll see them all, give their opinions and give her advice and reassurance and help her to accomplish her goals. So it's kind of a multi-generational book, but it's something that everyone can relate to because, like I said, we all have fears.
It's great. So as we close, there's a couple things that I would love to ask you because I ask everyone these lovely questions. But as a mother, a professor, a clothing designer, a business owner, and now author.
That's like a lot when you say it.
What is your daily routine? How do you get this done every day? What does it look like for you to be able to juggle these things? What is it? What is your daily life? Although maybe changing, what is it? What is consistent about it?
Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I started this book when my children were young. They were about 7 and 8 years old, and they just graduated from college. So I like to tell people that because so many of us have these projects or these dreams or ideas that we start, and then we put them aside to live life and to be a mom and a room mom and a soccer mom and do all the things. But now that they've graduated from college, I have some time to go back and fulfill some of my dreams. And this is something that I really wanted to get done. And it's something that my family was asking about. It's like, where's the book? When are you going to finish the book? So I can finally say that I finished the book. So as long as you finish, it doesn't really matter how much time it takes. I feel like it's a better book, than it would have been 15 years ago, just because of my life experience and my experience of being a mom. And I'm a mom in the classroom. I kind of teach and educate the same way that I would with my own children. I'm very hands-on. So over the course of all of that time, I've obviously learned a lot and grown a lot, and I feel like that's made a much better story. So
beautiful. So sorry, everything you said was 100% like that's how you handle it all.
I mean, you just
practically though, what time do you get up in the morning? What time do you go to sleep?
Okay, so I'm not a good sleeper. All right, I get up at like 4:30 or 5. I teach in the morning at Trade Tech, so my morning's blocked off, and then the rest of the afternoon is for myself. Now, when my kids were young, after work, then I come home and then I would do homework and do all of the mommy stuff. I was very fortunate though. When my kids were young, I was able to find a job in the industry, which is rare, that let me work 4 days a week. So when I was working the 4 days a week, it allowed me to be the room mom and do all of those things that I wanted to do. It was important for me to be there, to be physically there for my children, and I was able to do that. So I've had like a wonderful time being a mom. And now that the girls are grown, our relationship is the same, but different. I mean, we're at the next chapter, so we'll just have to see what unfolds.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so as you think about all the amazing aspects in your life and the things that you have accomplished, what are you the most proud of in yourself?
Wow, I don't know.
I know, I love asking this question because we never get to a place where we can tell ourselves these things.
Right, and I don't know that it's just one thing. I'm very proud of the woman that I am today. That I'm in a position where I'm able to give back, just based on my experiences and my passion for teaching and helping people and lifting people up. One of the reasons that I joined Black Design Collective was because they have that same philosophy and platform. I like mentoring. I like being able to give my wisdom to someone else, if we'll call it wisdom, or my knowledge. I just want to give back. I want the youth coming up to be successful, and if I can help them along the way, or I can relieve any burdens, or I can forego any major mistakes that they may make, then I'm all for that. I just think it's important when you get to a certain place in your life, in your career, that you help the next person up or the next several people. Black Design Collective, I'm surrounded by so many creative and amazing people that I am also in awe of. I'm in awe of their work. And just to be in this kind of environment, it's so rewarding and fulfilling. Everyone needs to find their village, and this is definitely
it's so good.
Definitely my village. Don't get the sign fell down. The power of it, the power of
BDC. So that was perfect. As we conclude, I really appreciate everything you've done for the Black Design Collective. And when I tell you she's done so much, I don't even know the half of it, but I know how much she's helped me. She's helped this program that we share for you guys, and just everything, her diligence, her care, and her sweetness. She's just such a sweet person. And she gets the guests on here so that we can all figure out more about people in this industry and understand who they are and what their stories are. So thank you so much, Tiffany. But before we leave,
Yes.
If you were a shoe,
The shoe.
what shoe would you be and why?
I'm gonna say a combat boot.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, like Doc Martens, or it doesn't matter?
Something a little below the knee. I used to have these combat boots that I wore everywhere. And what I loved about them is you could dress them up, you could dress them down. I wore them with evening gowns. I wore them with jeans. They're just ready for everything. Like you're just ready for battle when you have your boots on. Whatever comes your way, you can just handle it.
I love that. I love that. That is you. I see that. I love that question. Well, thank you so much for joining us on camera today.
Thank you.
And I really hope the best for this book, and I hope everyone goes out to get it for yourself, for people in your, there it is.
My labor of love.
Get the merch, get the book, read it to the loved ones in your lives, whether they're young or old.
Right.
Everybody loves a good children's book, and I hope that you all love it as well. Thank you for joining us, Tiffany.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for your gift that you continue to give us. Bye.
Bye.